Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited about this episode. In this episode, I have this saying that I live and work in the cloud, and I'm going to share a little bit more about what that means and how I navigate this world of living and working in the cloud. But two key themes that really stood out. I was talking about how to find truth, how to find the truth, how to look at a situation, whether it be a problem, and get into that truth as fast as possible. And then the other key theme that really stuck out to me was this idea of creating equity. Equity is not giving, equity is something that you have to create. So, with that said, if you were wondering if I had that meeting from last episode, if you didn't get a chance to see last episode, I'm going to answer that question for you in this episode. With that said, let's go. So if you watched yesterday's episode, you know that I thought that I had a meeting yesterday, but it was actually today. So, so today, it's almost like I'm living like this parallel universe right now, because today we have that meeting. So I'm heading there to the office right now, and also I'm doing something a little different today. I have my gym bag here, as you can see. And I never really do this, so I have a 9 o'clock and I have an 11 o'clock. The goal is after my 11 o'clock is to jump to the gym then. So I've never done that before. I usually try to get my workout like before I even start any work. So it's a little bit of a change for me to, in the middle of my day to go hit a workout, and then go back to work. So we'll see how it goes. But at least I brought my bag. Remember, it's a Jedi mind trick. Because I didn't even consider going to the gym. I was just gonna because I had my rule, as long as I don't miss 2 days in a row. So I could have used that rule today, but I decided not to. At least I brought my bag. So I'm signaling to myself, hey, your bag's there, you might as well just go to the gym. So we'll see how it goes, but another day. One thing that's really important is follow up. You got to follow up. You got to follow up. I forgot, a mentor of mine told me the fortune is in the follow up, because sometimes people don't follow up. So as I'm sitting here waiting for my next meeting, I'm just going to use that as a time just to shoot some emails, following up, seeing where the ball's dropped, and using this time as productive as possible as I'm waiting for this next meeting to start. So follow up is critical in moving the ball forward, because at the end of the day, people have so much that they're doing and so much that they're juggling, and you're not always somebody else's highest priority. So I've learned the hard way. Is, I will let other people's priorities clog up my inbox. And then their priorities became my priorities. So I understand that when you're following up, or when you're in the process of completing a task, or completing a deal, or whatever the case may be, it's all about that follow up and follow through until you become a priority. in in their inbox and in their world. So start meeting starting in about 5-10 minutes, but I wanted to jump in here real quick. Okay, no problem. I'm coming down right now. To the back door. Yep, I'm coming down right now. Yep, no problem. Okay, so she's waiting at the back door, so I'm gonna go get her now. It's simple. So it started about 4 or 5 years ago when I was the director of entrepreneurship at L-Tracy. And I wanted a way to connect with the students in a way that they saw my life as an entrepreneur, because I was running a business plus doing that at L-Tracy. And they were just like, the challenge was let's do a 1 minute clip and keep that connection. So I did about 224 videos.
Oh my
over
goodness.
like 3 or 4 years. And it was just,
with the students.
It was just they would be in it sometimes, but it would just be like my day-to-day life, kind of just like documenting my life, any type of wise words that I had at that moment. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't planned, it was just, oh, I got something to say. And I would just use my device and record it. So I had a habit for a long time doing it. So last year was a tough business year for me. And I was working with that venture capital firm. I'm still working with them. And I was supposed to get funding because I made it to a certain round of top 1%, and then the Silicon Valley Bank thing happened.
Okay.
So everything froze. So in that moment, it gave me that idea of like, I gotta take control of my narrative, of my opportunities and all these things. So 3 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start this up again, but this time I'm gonna be a lot more intentional, and I'm going to use it as a platform to integrate all of my businesses into it. So I started a company with a group, and what we do is we buy what we call stalled internet ventures. So these are like digital platforms. The owner's like, I don't want to do this anymore. They want to go to the next idea. So we come in and we either acquire it outright or we take a minority stake in the business to help them get unstuck.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started that at the beginning of the year. So I have a few partnerships right now that I'm finalizing. I have a pipeline of companies that I'm talking to, and I want to just document that. But not just that, you're gonna see my daughter. You're gonna see the life of a family man trying to juggle everything and run a business. And I think it's interesting. And the feedback that I've been getting so far has been pretty good. And like I was saying, it's really good like to promote like we have lunch, like it's because it's integrated in my life. It's not like I'm trying to do it. It's just a part of like my day to day. This is where I come every day. So as the channel grows, more people are going to learn about what we're doing and some of the other things that I'm doing, in the entrepreneur world. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So one question for you. You're buying stalled internet ventures.
Ventures, yes.
Do you do any networking? Do you go to like 1 Million Cups and talk to some of the individuals there?
I used to go to those when I was a director. I used to go to those, but I haven't gone that much. Mainly because most of my work has been outside of the Lehigh Valley.
Oh.
And that's
Okay.
like 100% of my work has been outside of Lehigh Valley, and I always felt that not a disconnection because it's easy just to integrate myself into the network here. But I would be in LA or San Francisco, or like I would be traveling to like the major tech hubs. So that would tap me into those networks, and then the internet. But one of the reasons why I'm doing this show is because it allows me to kind of like integrate the Lehigh Valley into it doesn't like it's one thing to say, okay, yeah, Tremayne's in Austin, Texas, he's doing business there, but that doesn't do anything for here.
Right.
So this allows me to tie those two worlds together. That you can see, hey, because I like to say I live and work in the cloud, meaning that I'm here, but I'm not here.
You physically can be anywhere you choose
Yes,
to be
yes.
because your business
Yes,
is not tied
it's not
to a
tied
location.
geographically. So that piece of it also is an interesting story because a lot of people are working remote for the first time, like young professionals. That's what seems to be gravitating to the content is like young professionals. College. I was at Kutztown 2 weeks ago. My daughter and my wife were invited to a networking event. You familiar with Trio? They help like first generation college students.
No.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that. We did Penn State has a first generation college student.
Yeah.
Tri Alpha is a society, and
Yes,
we had
yeah.
our induction
Mm-hmm.
Monday night, Tuesday night, one of the nights this week.
Yes.
And I'm first generation, so last year I was inducted.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's kind
Wow.
of unique. There's apparently there's quite a bit. It started at Moravian, I believe, Moravian or Muhlenberg.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Moravian, and we were the second Commonwealth campus in Penn State. And now there's several, and the University
So cool.
Park has one as well.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It is. So your wife and your
Daughter were invited to come to a networking event for a trio. It was put on by Kutztown, and they had like speed networking, so there were young professionals there, and they seem to be the ones that are gravitating towards the content. So they're either like college age students or young professionals. Or then even like some senior executives that are juggling life.
Well, it's interesting to me how different work and life is.
Yes.
I think about, when my mother graduated from college, there were 5 choices. This is what you could do.
Yep.
And then when I graduated, well, my mom didn't go to college, but my mom graduated from high school. When I graduated from college, there were so many more opportunities.
Yes.
And now that's blown apart. It's exponential.
Yes.
We don't have to be in one space.
Yes.
We can live where we want to and work like you do.
Yes.
Remotely.
Yes.
So
and I've been working remotely for 15 years. So I was like really ahead of, and I started working remotely because I was commuting I was working for the Wall Street Journal. I was commuting 2 hours up, 2 hours back, 4 hours a day, new family, just got married. Kid, you know what I mean? So I was so burnt out, and I remember I was able to negotiate with my manager. I can't do this anymore, and thankfully I was getting results, and I had something to stand on in my negotiations, and that's when I started, 2008.
Nice.
2008. So it's ingrained into how I've been. Like I work at a coffee shop, so I work at a co-working spaces. So it's a part of who I am.
So speaking of coffee shop, I feel like I remember the last time you were here, you were working with different coffee shops and doing.
Yes, So that was when I was working with Platform, who's a venture capital studio. So it was a digital native franchise, and basically what that is
a franchise.
So I was trying to move that into their system, and it caught traction. I was able to build an AI bot that took all the manuals from one of the biggest expression machines.
That's right. It was a machine.
Yeah, the expression machines and the technicians.
Like I'm saying to you, that's right. Like you.
Yes.
You didn't remember. I didn't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was the tradesmen of that industry. I took all the manuals, put it into an AI chatbot, and I was able to kind of hustle my way into the espresso machine. It's called Larmacazo. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They're the biggest.
Yeah.
They're Italian.
I've seen.
So I was able to get that in front of people, and I was getting data. I was doing customer development, basically.
Okay.
I was getting the data, and then I went back to the venture capital firm, like, oh, you like this, but it doesn't totally fit into our thesis, and it was really tight. It it's really tight now in the venture capital world. So you got to be creative. You have to be creative, and that's a part of what I'm doing now. Is like I'm trying to be as creative as possible because that's going to be the edge.
Yeah.
Creativity.
So you're pivoting.
I pivot.
As an entrepreneur, you're just pivoting.
I just pivot. It's a pivot. It's a pivot that gives me more skin in my own game, and now that I see the the capital markets, the investments aren't coming like they used to come like 5 years ago, like pre-pandemic. Investors were throwing money at people. Now's not that time. So it's important for founders to be super creative. How do you get the cost to acquire a customer super low? So even like the leverage that I get by having a vlog is I can recruit talent. I can get customers for acquisitions that I make. I can get customers. I can get free publicity and free marketing. I can plug that into like a PR. So there's so many points of leverage that just having the platform is going to give me from a business perspective. It's a good first step into that thinking creatively about your business. Because people, at the end of the day, AI is coming. A lot of these deep fakes are coming, and you have to humanize yourself as much as possible, and that's going to be a premium for people to feel like, oh, this person's real. No, because that AI is going to be really
getting much better at it.
At a pace that we've never seen before. Because even if you notice Mark Zuckerberg, he's humanizing himself. He's not just wearing like the gray t-shirts and the blue jeans like a robot. He's wearing like cool stuff, and like somebody on his PR team is directing him like to start becoming more relatable. So I see where the wind's going at the top levels and just trying to align with that idea.
And
I'll stop.
how is
Okay, that was a pretty good meeting. So it was good to catch up with Cindy, brainstorm on how we can make things better and things of that nature. And then looking at the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Lehigh Valley, one of the things that, I guess you can call themes of this show, now it's a show now. One of the themes here is the thing that I always juggle with is I always say that I live and work in the cloud, meaning that, yes, I'm here in this city, but I'm not here, meaning that I'm not really connected to not that I'm not connected to the network here, because I am, and it's easy to connect to the network here. That's not an issue. It's just that my work takes me into, it plugs me into some of the major tech hubs, which is like New York right now, New York, Austin, San Francisco, like those. That's where the major tech hubs at, and that's where I've built network and relationships as well as being here. And like I was saying to Cindy, I like the idea of being here because this is a great place to raise a family, without having to pay the cost of living in like a major city. So it's almost like the best of both worlds, and so we were just talking about a lot of different things of that nature. But it's always great catching up to her. It seems like we both walk away from the conversation refreshed, re-energized, and that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. So. which is usually on LinkedIn. So that's without. Just one quick thing is I just got off a call, but it's just something that I think would be valuable when going through like a business, when you're trying to solve a problem in a business situation, or even in life. This could apply there too. Is usually the truth is in between two extremes. So what I like to do, what I learned to do, is I try to figure out what's the extremes of both sides of a particular thing, and then the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. So you have two extremes. You have this extreme, you have this extreme. So to find that truth is somewhere in the middle. And what happens is if we don't have the dexterity, if we don't have the ability to be able to have both of these extremes in our minds and being able to trust our gut to kind of navigate us for the particular situation that you're in right now, you get overwhelmed. That's where you get overwhelmed. So the speed at which you can kind of pull those extremes up and find the truth of the situation and put the truth out is it's a test of leadership. It's a skill to be developed, and it's something that I just had to do in real time. So twice, and you always get the better result. You might not get the absolute result, but you're going to get a lot closer than what you were. And it beats overwhelm, and at least it gives you something, you and your team, to work with and work through. Because the name of the game right now is just speed to market, speed to whatever the solution you're trying to get to. So that just happened right now. I just got off 2 phone calls, and that's kind of like what the theme was of those 2 calls. Like, what's the truth here? Like, and I actually said it out of my mouth. I said, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at the extremes, and the truth is somewhere in between. And we kind of got to a resolve, and we kept it moving. So, I can see ChatGPT right now. Let's see. I don't know if I like those. Can you scroll up really quick? Let's see what we put in. Let's see if we can. Can you help us modify this content and give us a name for this collaboration? Let's see here. Because I don't like what they're giving us. I think they can do a better job. Put this in. Let's figure this out first. Ask ChatGPT give us 3 different angles of approach. Like that way we can let's break down, the different angles first, and then once we figure out the angles, then we'll figure about labeling it. Different angles of approach. Yes. For the aspiring. Yeah, and put based off of the initial copy that we put up in the front. Yeah. So that way ChatGPT has a reference point, and then we can backtrack that. One quick observation in being in an AI first organization is it's a mindset shift. That this is just an observation. The mindset shift is we've gotten so used to, and I'm noticing this with myself, I've gotten so used to kind of like sitting there trying to spin my wheels to get an answer or to solve a problem. But the mindset shift is the immediately use chat to get that for you right away, and to be able to put the right prompts in to get the answer that you're looking for. And that's the skill. That's the skill that the reskilling that needs to happen is being able to what they call be a prompt engineer. And I know engineer has a very intimidating name, like a prompt engineer, but it's really simple. It's really just being able to communicate in natural language to get the chat GPT to give you the best output. So that's one thing, I would always recommend is just like, there's different levels to putting the prompts in. Because some people are, as we learn to talk, we start with gibberish, and to be able to have more complex sentences and language and things of that nature. But yeah, so it's a mindset shift when it's not AI second, but AI first. Like that's the first thought, which is, it's a different mindset, a different switch to put on. But once you get used to it, then it gets a lot easier. So in case you were wondering, I did not go back to the gym. I brought my bag, but I haven't gone to the gym. So as soon as that meeting, the second meeting that I had was over, it just turned into kind of chaos. Not chaos, but fires that need to be put out, and the speed of getting to finish a project that needed to get finished after the meeting. Because after the meeting, it was like, okay, let's execute. It wasn't like, oh, after the meeting, just wrap up. No, it was, we had a meeting, we kind of discussed strategy at a high level, and then it was all about execution. Excuse me. So that's I don't know how people do talk in those food shows. They're not like talking with their mouth full. That's a lot. But anyway, yeah, so it was just off the call execution. I thought I was gonna go to the gym after that, but that didn't happen. So we'll see. The day's not over yet, but just in case you were wondering, because I did bring my bag, so my gym stuff is upstairs. I didn't get a chance to go, and it may sound like an excuse, but I do have my rule. 2 days can't go by, so I didn't go yesterday and today, so I have to go tomorrow, no matter what. So that's the main thing, but it would be a bonus if I do get there today, because like I said, there's never a downside. It's just the change of schedule. I'm just not used to just picking up out of the middle of my day and go. It's just, that doesn't work for me as well. I like to just get it out, knock it out, but we'll see how it goes. Pharrell just secretly dropped this album called Virginia, and it is so good. I just started like the first 2 or 3 songs. I hope this doesn't get copyright strike, but oh man, check it out. It's called Virginia. Oh man, it's really good. It's called, go to blackyachts.com. Oh man, he just dropped it out of nowhere. Not on any of the platforms like Spotify or Apple Music. So it's just an independent drop, and here it is. I'm listening to it. It's beautiful. I know we all love data. We want data analytics for everything. But as I'm taking a little bit of time of working on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube content, and I'm just looking at the analytics and everything. One of the things that happens is, and this is for me as a creative, I'm in a creative space. I don't want to spend too much time in analytics, because what it does is it actually like hinders the creative process in a way. But the idea is how do you balance that? How do you balance the left side, the analytical side of your brain, to kind of see what's there, see what the numbers are saying, but on the other side, the creative side, the right side of your brain, to stay creative and stay in that creative bag. And I always said that the ability to use your left side and your right side of your brains, that's where genius happens, is the convergence of being able to use both of those sides. So as I'm going through, the analytics, and I'm seeing how you all are watching the videos, how long you're watching them for, who's watching them, I'm finally starting to get some information, finally starting to get some analytics to help me kind of see who the audience is. But at the same time, it's too early right now for me to kind of bank on what the algorithm's telling me. So right now, I'm just focused on just creating the content and getting it to where I need it to be. And that's just production, just continue to produce, continue to keep this pace. And then at the end of X amount, like have a set number, then I'll go back. But what I am gonna try to do, starting today, is a ritual, maybe after let's call it every month, once a month or twice a month, I'm gonna take some time, or let me put it this way, every 2 weeks, because the way the seasons are broken down, there's 12 episodes within a season, which is usually about 2 weeks. 2 weeks worth of content, maybe an hour and a half worth of footage. So after that's over, I'm gonna take some time and look at that season, write the notes, and kind of like build upon that way. But I don't want to spend too much time in the weeds with the analytics. It's just way too early. This is all an experiment, so I don't want to look at these analytics as the Bible, as the truth. I don't think that's the truth yet. It's somewhere like I said earlier, somewhere in between what the data is showing me and what my gut is saying, and that's a fine line. You're always filtering for the truth of the situation. So, yep. So I'm sitting here, I'm about to wrap it up for today soon, but I wanted to spend at least 15 minutes just doing that, just to get a gauge on things. Yo, what's good, man? Today was a wild day. It was a wild day. Just trying to just keep up with everything. So I started on a new project. Just within the last week or so, I brought on a new company that I'm working with. So cool. Yeah, that's always like a lot of like the learning curve is pretty high. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty.
It's a new kind of company you've never worked with.
Yeah. They're pretty new, but yeah. So let's get into what we really want to talk about. So let me just, and I'm actually looking for your insight and your input. So I just want to let you know where I'm at with this whole thing. So this really all started, by accident. I wasn't trying to do all this. I wasn't planning for this whole YouTube thing to take this turn, but the more I started doing it, it just started to organically take this turn. So as you already saw, I completed season 1 of this, and the way it's broken down, it's 12 episodes per season, which takes me about 2 weeks. And I'm doing it every single day, and I'm delivering it every single day, meaning that I'm recording my day, I'm vlogging that, and then when I get home at night, I'm editing and it's up. So it's a really fast pace and fast turnaround time. So in season 2, which is now, this element of, because you're watching the videos and the dead sound moments of just like B-roll type stuff. I was like, let me start experimenting with adding music to this. And you know how YouTube gives you that generic music. And I'm like, I don't know if it's all right for right now, but it's just not. I think it could be a lot better. You know what I mean? So that's what gave me the idea to say, hey, you're in your bag, you're in your creative bag, I'm in my creative bag. How can we put our bags together to kind of formulate something, kind of have a sound design for for these vlogs, and the way I'm looking at it now. So just right now, the way I'm using, let me bring it here. The way I'm using music is just like any other vlog, usually like on B-roll footage, of, and then I'm using sound. But YouTube sounds are limited. I can actually buy what's called Epidemic or something sound. I don't want to do that. I'd rather work with somebody. That sounds more fun to me. I'd rather work with someone like a producer like you, where we're designing a sound that represents what we're going for, what I'm going for. So that's what I had in mind in terms of dates. So right now, give me a second here. I'm gonna pull it up on my spreadsheet. So right now, May 4th, I'm gonna be done with season 2, and then May 5th, I'm gonna be from May 5th to May 18th. I'm gonna be starting season 3. So what I want you to start thinking. I'm going straight. I thought I was gonna take a break. That was my first, after I was done with season 1, I was like, let me just take a break. And then, but the day that I thought I was taking a break, my day was just, and this is the thing about this, Joe. It's writing. The script is writing itself. You know what I mean? The script is writing itself. I'm just capturing what the script, what's unraveling as it's happening. And the day I was gonna take a break, I was like, wait, this is good. Like, this is starting to get good. From a story perspective. So I'm not taking a break, but what? Oh, go ahead.
No, I said okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not taking a break. So how I'm thinking about it, and it was kind of like how I was talking to you before as a producer, think of me like an artist that you're working with, and you're sending me beat packs, because the way that my workflow would have to be is, right now I'm editing in iMovie, something really simple, because that's
right.
The most simplest thing. And then what I do is I just throw everything into iMovie, then I move it over into YouTube, their studio, and then that's where I do the music at. And I know I do not like it. I'd rather do the music in iMovie. So if I had a beat pack that I can select from, beats that I can select sounds from, then that would be ideal. You know what I mean? That would be ideal.
Okay, all right. And how many tracks would you think you would need? You would need 1 track per video?
Well, so this is what I'm finding right now, Joe. So I'm using and you can, I'll send you an example video, like a short one that you can kind of get a gist. So what I'm finding is, if there's like a B-roll opportunity, like if I'm walking, so I'll show myself walking, and then I'll show myself walking. So that's when I use the beat, and we're talking about less than a minute. We're talking about 30 seconds. The snippet that I use. There's another part where I just started this yesterday, where I genuinely during my day, like if I feel overwhelmed, like I'll find some place to sit, and I'll just like meditate. I'll just like calm down and breathe. So I've been putting like more like a meditative song during that time. But then at the end, like I have like a close, so like I have a close sound. But that's how I'm doing it now. But the difficulty of like the time that I spend trying to match up the right song with the right, that's just, it just takes too long.
Okay. So can you send me like reference tracks to see like what kind of sound you're looking for?
Yeah. What I'm gonna do, what I'll do to make it easier for you, I'll put together my own little reference pack in terms of like
Perfect.
what I'm looking for, what how I'm using it. And give me a couple days to do that too. Maybe even by
that's fine.
maybe even by the weekend.
That's perfect. If you get that to me by the weekend, I can start working on stuff over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm off on Monday and Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have a 4-day weekend this week.
Okay.
I had a 5-day weekend. I had a 5-day weekend this week. Next week I have a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. I'm excited.
We were gonna when I was doing the 7-minute drills, you're like, yo, let me produce you. I was like, I'm not gonna do all that. So I was thinking, that's what made me think this is the next best thing.
Hey, I like it. I like, I said to myself this year that I want to broaden my horizon when it comes to production.
Yeah.
And this is something unique. This is something that I haven't done yet, so why not?
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I like it.
After much thought, I came to a conclusion that the only metric, the only data that I'm listening to right now when it comes to the YouTube vlog is, does it feel right? Does my gut does it still feel fun? That's the only metric I'm going to use right now. I'm not going to spend too much time. I had to think about that, and I had a good conversation. That's what this all comes down to. Am I having a good time? Am I doing it with people that I want to do it with and collaborate with? Like, that's how I'm going to determine, the next steps in this direction. I'm not going to spend too much time letting the algorithm inform my creativity. I didn't set out to do that. I felt tired. Literally tired, going through all the numbers. I did get some good data. Don't get it twisted. I did come out with a good gauge, a better gauge than I had a day ago. So I'm not discrediting it, but I do know where to draw the line, and I just decided that I'm gonna focus on, does this feel good? That's the only metric. Did I put value into each episode, each video? Did I give my all to it? That's all I'm gonna do right now. Maybe in a few months that's gonna change, but for right now, I think I've done. We're going on. This is 16. It's just way too early, and I fell into the trap, fell into the temptation of the algorithm. It's strong. That algorithm is strong. That's why I need you to comment, like, if you can, because that helps me gain some leverage. Because that's what this is all about. Just figuring out the best strategy, and that comes with just rolling up your sleeves and learning as you go. I'm actually done for the day, so I am packing up. But before I pack up and everything, I just wanted to share this with you, because this is what I was doing before I'm leaving, is I felt I had the need to go back and just revisit the vision that I laid out at the beginning of the year. Because at the end of the day, clarity is key, and I'm going to talk about that over and over again. Clarity is key, and here I am right now. You can't really see it that good, but this is me going over a vision right here that I planned, that I wrote out at the beginning of the year, and I'm surprised how much of the things that I'm actually doing that I didn't really. Yeah, I wrote it out, but it wasn't like I had this genius strategy or genius plan to make it happen. And one thing I put in here is write down 2 ridiculous goals for 2024. And I wrote those things down, and it's interesting that I'm doing both of them in some form or fashion, but I had no clue how I was going to get to this point. So I don't know, I was just feeling like, again, pulled in other people's directions and being prioritized in other people's visions, which is cool. There's a time for that when you're working in someone else's vision, but you don't want to work in someone else's vision at the cost of yours. So that's one thing that I'm constantly trying to figure out ways to go back to my vision, see what I wrote down, and just be grounded in that. And then, when it's time to work into someone else's vision, you put yours to the side. But for me, it's all linked. It's all, values being created, equities being created. Equity is something that's created. It's not given. You have to create it. So, yeah. So before I leave, that's my last message. If anything in this video resonates with you, please let me know. That helps me gain some leverage with the algorithm, and it helps also to give you some skin in the game. If you see something that's, if you see a glimpse of like, wow, there's something here, it gives you some skin in the game as well. So with that said, I'm out. Peace.